Hello and welcome to Held and Heard. This is a podcast for pregnant and postpartum mamas who want to feel more connected to their babies and more confident in themselves. Here, we talk about elimination communication and infant potty learning as a way of listening, not as something to add to your plate, but as a way to better understand what your baby has been communicating from the very beginning. This is a place where you learn to trust your baby and yourself. I'm your host, Heather Medlin, mother of 3, infant potty learning educator, and founder of Ready for Birth, where I guide postpartum mamas through every stage of early potty learning, from birth to toilet independence. Each week, I'll help you slow down, tune in, and discover just how aware and capable your baby already is, so you can meet them with confidence instead of doubt. Your baby is communicating, and you are capable of listening. Let's get started. My 14-month-old potty-trained toddler just started daycare, and last week I almost cried at my desk at work. He's 14 months old. He was diaper-free at home before he could walk, and he was fully potty-trained before his first birthday. And last week, 4 days into his new daycare, he had 3 poops in a diaper at school in a single day. And I sat at my desk, and I felt like everything we had built together was just gone. This week's episode is all about what happened next. Because if you're doing EC, or you are EC curious, or you just found this podcast and you have no idea what I'm talking about yet, this episode is for you. Because what happened after that moment is exactly why I do what I do, and exactly why I built what I'm about to tell you about at the end of this episode. So stay with me. If you've been following along, you know that we have been researching daycares, and we were about to move our youngest 2 children into daycare. We have had a nanny at home since I went back to work at 3 months old. I'm a full-time professional architect, in case you didn't know that. But my day job is I work most of the time outside of the home, but I have a pretty flexible routine, and this allows me to be partly remote and partly in the office. So we've had a nanny, and that is one of the strategies that we've used to reduce the hours that I'm away from him and make sure that we were able to build a really strong foundation with EC in the hours that we were together. And if you have listened to any of my other episodes, then you also know that we had him out of diapers and in underwear at home as early as 7.5 months at home, well before he could walk. Even as he was just learning how to crawl, he was already clearly communicating when he needed to go potty. He was letting us know he was going to the potty as soon as he was mobile. So we really didn't need diapers. I had been working with his natural awareness of his potty needs since he was born. And I've also given him the language to be able to communicate that to me and any of his other caregivers who happen to be taking care of him. And so even well before he was 1 year old, he was already consistently communicating that, consistently letting us know when he needed to go pee or poop. And we had him out of diapers during the day when he was awake. So because I'm about to be going back to work full time, my oldest is starting kindergarten in the fall, we've been researching daycares so that our youngest 2 can have more consistent care. We've researched a bunch of them in the area. We've interviewed them. We've literally gone and looked at their bathrooms to see what their setup is. And one of the key questions that I've asked them on the phone before I even set up the interview was, hey, my baby is fully potty trained. He does not wear diapers at home, and he is able to communicate his need to go. Also, he's nonverbal. Are your teachers willing to support him in this? And if they say no, I'm not even going to go to the center. But if they say yes, and the one that we chose did say yes, absolutely, we're happy to help him with that. I went and checked out their center. I loved their bathroom setup. They have a purpose-built bathroom that is open to both toddler classrooms. They have Dutch doors into either side of it, so the teachers can actually see in or out of the bathroom while the child is in there. And they have these awesome tiny little toilets that are miniaturized, perfect for a small, tiny human. And he has his own potty seat that sits on top of it that I brought from home. So they have an awesome physical setup. They're willing to support him. And I'm like, great, this is going to be perfect for him. He's already walking. He's already potty trained at home. This is going to be seamless. It was not. So y'all, when he started daycare, about a week ago. He's been there for, I think, like a week and a half now. And I wanted to give you an update about how it's going. And so last Tuesday, I'm sitting at my desk at work. I get these app notifications from the teachers about literally everything in his day. Every time he goes to the bathroom, every time he has a snack, every time he falls asleep, I'm getting notifications. So I'm sitting there trying to draw some details, and I'm seeing 3 different times, y'all, he pooped in his diaper. And the first time it happened, I was upset. The second time it happened, I'm like, oh no. And the third time it happened, I was ready to leave. I was ready to go leave and pick him up, throw in the towel on my career. And I was literally feeling like, this is not working. Who was I to think that I could have a career in architecture and potty train my baby and be away from my children? And just all the mom guilt was just crushing me. And I was like, no, I cannot do this anymore. And so I wallowed in my sadness for all of 5 minutes. And then as I was driving home, I was thinking about okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to throw in the towel because we had this one bad day. What can I do? And here's the thing. And this is what I really want you to listen to. I figured out how we can pivot. That night, after I got my kids in the bed, I was sitting there looking through the app, and I'm noticing in the timestamps that they're missing some key things that I had explained to them about how to support him. And I had written them basically a 1-pager of his potty plan of here's when he needs to go. Here's the specific times of when to make sure he's getting an opportunity to go to the bathroom. And don't go more than an hour without making sure he has a chance to go. Sometimes he will hold it well over an hour, but I want them to make sure that he's having a regular opportunity to go. They're not going to be as consistently clear on his signals as I am, simply because my relationship with him has been built over 14 months and I know him so well. They just met him. So it's going to take them a minute to really dial in on his signals and understand what he's trying to communicate, simply because he's nonverbal at this point. I noticed that it had been almost an hour between after he had finished breakfast and when he had pooped in his diaper. And I had told them, make sure he gets a chance to go after every meal. I then noticed that it had been about 45 minutes between the first poop accident and the second poop accident, which means that tells me they didn't give him a chance to finish on the toilet. He had a poop accident in his diaper, and because he's potty trained, he knows that's not supposed to happen. And he probably held it. They changed it right away and put him right back in another pull-up before giving him a chance to finish on the potty. At home, if he has a poop accident, which is extremely rare but does happen occasionally, what do? I immediately take him to the bathroom. I give him a chance to finish on the potty or on the toilet. And almost always there's more, because he knows that he's supposed to put poop in the potty. And so if it happens on accident, I can always catch it and take him there and he will finish. So they didn't give him a chance to finish. And then finally, after his nap, I noticed there was another hour between when he woke up and when he had the third poop accident of the day. Well, I've told them he's supposed to go to the bathroom within 5 minutes of waking up from his nap. And if they had taken him, then he would have been able to go. And they didn't. And so he eventually had a poop accident. Just looking at the timestamps, knowing what I know about his patterns and his signals and the natural rhythms that he has shown me over time, because I know him so well, I wrote them a note of, here's what I'm seeing. Here's how you can adjust your timing and make sure that you're offering at these specific strategic times to help him be more successful and help your teachers have a better day. Everyone's going to have a better day if you are preventing the poop accident before it happens, because nobody wants to change a poop blowout on a toddler. Y'all, those are big situations. And my son does not want to be laid down or changed or wiped in any way. And so if there is a situation like that, he is strong. It is like wrestling an alligator. And so I framed it as, if you support him in this way, his day is going to be better and your day is going to be better. And I sent it off and was like, all right, let's see what happens. And when I went into school the very next day, the director met me at the door. She's like, Heather, I received your note and we are going to be speaking with every teacher that's going to be taking care of him. We're going to make sure that his potty plan is posted in the bathroom so that everyone knows about it. Because part of what had happened was that he had a new teacher that day. His regular teacher was out sick. and a new teacher had come in that was not familiar with him or understood the plan. And there was a lapse in communication, not because they didn't want to support him, but because she didn't have the plan. And so I offered some constructive advice to the center, to the director and his teachers. And they said, yes, totally, we understand. And they have adjusted their routines to make sure that everybody knows. And the second thing is, I adjusted mine. Instead of trying to rush him out the door to get him there before breakfast so that he could eat breakfast at school, I decided the next day I'm going to feed him breakfast at home. I'm going to breastfeed him before we go to school so that he will poop before we go to school. And I haven't been breastfeeding him in the morning. He is down to 2 feeds a day. I usually have been feeding him in the afternoon when I get home around 4 o'clock. And that's when I have been relieving my nanny. I'll get home at 4 o'clock. I'll finish my workday remotely. I'll breastfeed him at 4 when we're coming back together. And then again at bedtime when I'm putting him to bed. So I hadn't been feeding him in the morning, but because this had happened, I know, because I know his routines and I know what works, that if I breastfeed him and feed him breakfast, there's like a 99% chance he's going to have his big poop of the day first thing in the morning. So the next day, that's exactly what I did. And there I am. He's still in his pajama top. I've got my makeup done, but I'm still in my sweatpants, sitting on the floor in the bathroom. He's pooping in the potty. My toddler's climbing on my shoulders, and we caught the poop. And it was a big one. And I was like, great. He's empty. He's starting the day at daycare empty. We already caught the poop. And I took them to school. I went on to the office, had a great day. And when I got home, and I picked him up around 5:30, I got home. I fed him a snack while I was cooking dinner. And you know what? Within about 15 minutes, he pooped again. He waited until he got home when he was under my care. And then I caught the second poop of the day. He caught the second poop of the day with assistance. And he was good. No poop accidents at school. And this is it, y'all. EC is not about a perfect routine or a perfect schedule or having the time to stay at home and watch your baby all day. EC is about knowing your baby, about knowing exactly what their rhythms are, what their routines are, that you can strategically breastfeed to make something happen with your baby. And it does not matter if you work 8 hours a day or you have a demanding career or your baby is in daycare. What I teach in my courses and what I am going to show you and what I'm about to explain is that you already have that knowing. You just haven't learned how to listen yet. Your baby has been communicating these things to you since the day they were born. And I'm about to show you and give you one real experience where you can see this for yourself, that you already know what they're trying to tell you. And I'm going to show you how to see that. Because once you know, it doesn't matter what your schedule is. You will be able to recognize their communication in the ordinary moments of every day that you already have with your baby. And that is going to make all the difference. And because I want you to experience that for yourself, I want you to have this moment of seeing your baby communicating, getting the catch, maybe your first catch ever, and feeling for yourself and your body what that feels like, that your baby is communicating with you and you already can know what they're saying. Even as early as a newborn, your baby is already communicating. And I want to show you that conversation that's already happening. And because of this, I created the First Catch Weekend. In 2 weeks, starting on Friday, June 26th, we are going to be opening the very first Catch Weekend. And I'm so excited to bring you this because I know that it's exactly what so many of you need. You need to experience this for yourself. You don't want to make a lifestyle shift. You don't want to change your identity to become an EC mom. You're not even sure that it's going to work for you. I know you want to do this, but you're not sure that you can do this. And I want to show you that you can. So coming up in 2 weeks, we are going to get started and I'm going to show you strategically how you can get your very first catch in the potty. And we're going to make it a poop catch because there is nothing more satisfying than skipping a blowout. And if you sign up before 5 o'clock on Friday, June 26th, you're going to be part of this very first cohort. You do not have to have equipment. You do not have to buy anything. You do not have to prepare anything. In the span of 1 weekend, I'm going to show you exactly what to do with the toilet that you already have in your house. And I'm going to tell you exactly which 5 minutes of your weekend that you are already spending with your baby to show up and take them to the potty. And in that 5 minutes, you are going to get your very first catch. You're going to realize what your baby has already been trying to tell you, and you're going to discover that you can do it too. EC is not a perfect practice, a lifestyle change, or an identity shift. It is showing up for your baby one moment at a time, moment after moment after moment in the time that you already have together. And I'm going to show you what's possible. You can check out all the information and sign up for that in the link in the show notes. So don't wait, because this version of it will never be offered again. All right, y'all. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. If you loved today's episode, would you take a moment to help me reach even more mamas with this message? Leave me a review or share this with a friend. You can help even more families discover what's possible. You can find education and support for every stage of your baby's potty learning journey at readyfrombirth.com. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at readyfrombirth.ec. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back every Monday with a brand new episode. See you next time. Bye for now.